r/ask Reddit. What used to be normal in the past, but fucked up now? Smoking wherever you liked. As a child I remember my mum and dad smoking on the plane when we went on holidays. That seems crazy to me now. People smoked almost everywhere. Hospitals, restaurants, offices, grocery stores. You could not get away from the smoke and smell indoors unless no one in your family smoked. And maybe in churches. I do not remember anyone smoking in church. My dad says he remembers his pediatrician in the early 60s would be smoking while examining him. He says during his childhood teenage years, most public buildings would have this permanent haze of lingering cig smoke hanging around. And it wasn't until the 2000s that the law firm he worked for started making people go outside to smoke. I worked there summer of 2002, and the boss would always have a cigar going, puffing away up and down the halls. Using radioactive isotopes and paints for glow-in-the-dark things, also asbestos. Well, we still use tritium for glow-in-the-dark night sights and keychain vials, but the radiation doesn't escape the vials, so it's pretty safe. Even if it did, it's so weak to only be a problem if you eat it. Having kids with your family to keep your bloodline pure. The McPoy bloodline, clean and pure as snow for over 1000 years. Renting VHS videos and getting charged $3 every day that year late from Blockbuster Video. The charge would show up 5 years later when you apply for a new card if you moved, LOL. Or the $2 rewind fee. At the time it seemed like such an inconvenience. You could buy a rather cheap machine that would rewind the video for you super fast. We had a rewinder that looked like a race car. You put the tape in and it sounded like a car while rewinding. Giving kids cocaine for a cold. What a time to be alive. Babies weren't allowed to have anesthesia because people though they couldn't feel pain. Never understood this. Babies make it really fucking clear that they are feeling pain. Literally no attempt to hide their discomfort. Did they think it was a coincidence that they screamed at the top of their lungs when the doctor began using a scalpel? Well, he's crying when I'm not cutting him and he's crying when I am cutting. Guess he's legally a plant. Lead paint. Years ago my grandmother's best friend was getting her house painted and kept complaining ever since they took the lead out of paint it all looks so ugly. Her painter finally appeased her by taking a small can of aluminium powder and mixing it into her paint and telling her it was lead, and she was so pleased with it till the day she died. Watching executions for fun. Ah shit dude, my boss made me work overtime again. Now I'm gonna miss another execution. Airline passengers used to dress up for routine flights because travel by air was considered fashionable. If you watch old TV and movies, people used to get semi-dressed up just to eat dinner at home. I think it was Naked Gun when Leslie Nielsen says let me slip into something more comfortable and it's another suit. Kids dying from ducking mumps and polio because you couldn't vaccinate your children. Well, hold my anti-vax lunacy. Being a fan of Bill Cosby. Ouch, I still have to rustle my brother, whom I slept with on my iPhone. I'm sorry, I know he was a rapist, but I will still laugh at Dad is great. He gave us chocolate cake. Letting young kids stay outside playing for hours until the street lights come on without knowing where they are. It's not really effed up, but it's def not normal now. I moved to Alaska around 2/3 RD grade. During one of the first weeks up here I went to go join up with the other military kids because they know friendship is passing and don't care if you're new. Well, my parents told me to come home when the sun went down. Next morning I came home to confuse parents who thought I simply skipped dinner and went to bed. And I was equally confused as to why there was breakfast made and not dinner. Owning people. Drinking and driving. This is a good one. I remember my dad telling me how he got pulled over after driving to Jersey, where you could buy booze at 18, and coming back, the cop told him to pour the bottle right out on the street and drive straight home. Today our attitudes have changed. Abusing the mentally ill. I mean, beating the autism out is still common practice in many places. And those quack medicine cleanses that crazy people will give their kids which sloughs off part of their bowel mucosa. Marrying a young girl when you are king or head of a church. People in the olden days be like, hey, let's just fry this man inside a metal ball in front of children LMAO. This was one of the more shocking realizations I had from reading Better Angels. In all of human history, it's only a very, very recent thing that watching a stranger die in horrifying ways is considered anything but great entertainment. Bloodletting. A lot of disease treatment and general healthcare was brutal. Mercury, lead, cocaine, and methamphetamine all used to be common medications, removing whole limbs just because we didn't have the means to deal with infections. Not buckling in your kids in the car. My sister and I spent 12-hour road trips playing and sleeping on the floor of our minivan with the chairs taken out. Now if you don't have your kid properly buckled into their space rocket seat, it's neglectful. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.